We are 17 minutes from the start. By the way, I also take advantage that Lori made it. So Lori at Alignment, please raise your hand so that people know that you are the third person judging them. Good. So, as I said, are there any questions? These instructions are important. I think you know them very well. We're going to use this microphone to through which you will be talking, okay? And this one is going to be used by the jury panel members, okay? You have 10 minutes. There's going to be some physical clock. So you're going to hear an alert when the first 10 minutes pass. If you continue talking, that's up to you. But you're going to be eating the 5 remaining minutes for the questions, okay? So you may continue, but at 15, when the 15-minute hits sharply, this is it. You have to leave the stage. And I encourage you to please leave 5 minutes for the jury panel to be able to ask you some questions, okay? And nothing else, just to wish you a very good luck. I don't think that you deserve it because you are very well prepared. Demonstrate the huge potential of your MVPs, your business plans, and prove us that you can bring to the market sustainable data fuel solutions. And again, I open the floor. We still have 15 minutes to start the pitching. Are there any doubts that you want to ask right now before we get started? So I'll close just displaying the agenda, okay? I don't know now if my colleague Reda, who is the coordinator, if he wants to say any words to the consortium. And it's not the best who will win. Just 5 of you will be selected. It's not a question of whether or no, but let's do your best and the day. Also for people who are competitive and stage, it is yours. I don't know who, but maybe 10 of the next. And the good luck. Good. Okay, so we leave it here. At 9:30 we start. I will just leave some background music. Dative may come down, and we can start placing the wearable mic. And please, the next team, get ready as soon as the question time begins. So the following team should approach, get closer to the stage. So as soon as one team finishes, we take the mic and pass it to the next team. Okay. So Idoia is going to be the clock master. For the time being, Almudena or Roberta are going to help with the mic, and I'm going to be in charge of swapping the slides. Okay.
Hello? Okay, it's working. It's for the people waiting in the screen. So good morning, everyone. Many of you have seen that we are Dative. It has been very clear here. My name is Jonathan Meneo, I'm the CEO, and within these 10 minutes, I would like to show you what we have achieved during these 4 months of intense work, and not just in the channels, as well as a company. So first, we were talking about data and data infrastructure, and the reach is about this, but we found out how to make this applicable in order to increase the sales of a provider like Sonae, that they have a retail supermarket, which is the biggest retail channel in Portugal, and as well to try to work in the time that people spend there. So it's not just about that, it's how we use that in order to increase the use of or the profitability of their business. How we are doing this? We found out during these months and almost these years that data, analyzing data campaigns, marketing data campaigns, that there was a huge problem. The huge problem was the promotion and the promotions. So the thing is that there is a 650 billion business that is still not digitalized. So what is this? Is that around the globe, companies are sending vouchers to their customers and promotions that are not spent. So are bought and then sent to the customers, not used. So there is a lot of money that is being lost. This is the model this is the problem that we are tackling. So what we have done before, it was a CSV, but that it was bought. So a company was going to Amazon, or it was going to Decathlon, and they were buying 1,000 codes in an Excel file, and this cost 1 million euros. They were received in this, and they were started selling the codes active. So this was a lose, because when you send the code and it's active, if the people doesn't use, there is a huge amount of loss, and this is barely, in average, 30%, that it could go up to 80% of the budgets. So we have built a platform that it's a B2B marketplace, that is a global, that customers just has to onboard with us with one API. And since that moment, they are able to send any voucher in the world, and not just voucher. We increase this in order to send physical merchandise digitally or travel rewards with just one simple API, with the benefit that if the voucher is not used, we don't purchase, so we don't charge to the customer. So if the campaigns before were sent 1 million euros with the non-redemption, this is the other one. Okay, this was the previous roadmap. So companies were buying 1 million euros. They had to make a lot of operational effort in order to solve and to deliver to the customer the active code. And at the end, the customer receiving the voucher. So 1 million budget, 1 million spent. What have you done is that now a company gives us 1 million, but even that we improved it. They don't have to give us one year of working capital. They just place with us a balance in order to cover the next 2-3 months. We manage this in order that we send the vouchers to the emails. If the customers received it and they use it, we go directly in real time. We purchase to the retailer and we send to the customer. Before that, we make in real time security checks, fraud, analytics, if this was used or not. We make so many checks that we assure that this is fully compliant, and we deliver. With the rest of the 30%, 40%, 50% is not used. So we don't charge it, and we take this money to save it to the company. But you will say, okay, you're saving money, so what's your business model? Our business model could be as simple as just charge for a SaaS fee. But as we are tackling the business of saving a lot of money, what we arrived with our customers is a revenue share model. So our business model has 3 parts. A SaaS platform that they connect to us and they pay us a monthly fee. So we assure that there is a stable connection and a continuous work together. Secondly, we get a commission on the fees. So, for example, if you are buying 1 million euros in Amazon from this retailer, they are giving you a small amount. But if you are buying a brand that is not that known, like, let's say a small retailer like MediaMarkt, that it could seem big, but it's not that big. It could go up to 15%, I don't know, for example. So we get that discount. And the most important is the revenue share. So if we are selling to a company 300,000 euros, we are getting half of the cut. So always that they are doing the campaign versus directly to the consumer, directly with the retailer or with our competitors, legacy competitors, paying us the SaaS fee, the promotions, and the revenue share, they are always going to be paying back our services. So it's a win-win. And this is how it looks like our P&L and what we have signed for the next year. So we were mainly based on service. It's not a coincidence, but as well, we arrived here to the Reach with a small first POCs with some customers. And during the Reach, we engaged with Sonai, and then as well, we engaged with several big companies. And the increase on the revenues of our company, it declines exponentially. So this year, in July, we made the same volume that we made in 2021. By September, we made twice the revenues that we were doing last year, and we are going to close doing 3x of probably 4x this year. As well, we have signed several contracts for big campaigns that are starting in Christmas period of 1 million euros. And this has changed completely the P&L of our company. Now, before we were based just in service fees, that is nothing scalable. And now we changed our revenue model that you can see the yellow part is the ones that it's based on revenue share, that it's eating and it's doubling the services that we were getting. So where is the market opportunity? We started with retail, with insurance, with startups as well that they're dishing this for the services. But now we have in pipeline different sectors that it's global. We have telco, we have insurance, we have automotive, and many other sectors. And as well, it's important that it's used in different marketing activities. So now we are based are actively sending campaigns in continental Europe, UK, Australia, Indonesia, and soon we'll come to Latin America again. So we are how are we doing the market development? Before we were just doing direct contracts, but to do this with big corporates is very slow. So we have defined a 3-step strategy. First, we are doing direct business development with our own team, that we are hiring people from the legacy companies that were selling this kind of businesses. So we took 2 guys that in their previous companies, they were selling 10 million euros a year on this kind of services. Then we are doing indirect service. We are taking agencies that are doing this kind of services, and we are offering our technology as a white label so they can increase their revenues. We have a partnership with them that we share with them the revenue. So for them, it's as well a win-win scenario. And we do partnership with providers. Finally, if there are providers that they cannot be as flexible as us, they can use our technology. With the Reach, it was very interesting because with the Reach, it was purely based on data. So what we did is we did the analytics. We took their point of sale analytics, and we made 3 use cases. Basically, people that was going to a store, we were analyzing how was their behavior. If in the next quarter there was a difference that it was going lower, we were promoting promotions directly to them. The interesting and the second one is that we made an engine to recommend different products that they could acquire to increase their market basket. So we could send this kind of promotions. And third is that people that spend more time in the store, less time in the store, so it's more profitable the store. So we could send a promotion as well to the people that were not using some features of the app, so we could send it. The interesting of this is that we made it completely GDPR compliant. in order that with analytics that it's everything automatic, it's a machine learning flow automation. They have the analytics, they just select the segments that they want to attack, they generate the campaign, and we put so their teams of data can gather the link of the promotion delivered directly to their customers. So it's 100% payless process. We have put all of team and most important players in this project because for us it was very important. There is a founder like Marco Rhino. He has founded a billion-dollar company. We have put experienced people in sales in order to transform their business with a highly experienced tech team. And just for ending very quickly, very interesting is that we found that we have a company inside of our company. So the next phase is it will be to split the two companies. So it will be Royward as a product that is fully scalable and Dative as a tech builder. So during these months, we have secured a small business round, business angel round with one of our providers that they want to enter with us. That will help us to split the company and then to plan in the Q1 of next year first Series A in order to as well to complete it with public funding. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for all. I'm open to your questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Quick question. You mentioned that you are going to almost quadruple the revenues for this year. Can we know the number, the absolute number?
So this is a bit tricky because there is a lot of volume that is not, so we are going to quadruple the revenues, but not the margins. So we are going to quadruple the numbers. So last year we are doing almost 280,000. This year we are going to make close to 1 million. Of those. In margins would be an increase of 70%. So we are going to quadruple the revenues because a lot of stuff we have to sell in order to deliver. But 70% of this increase it will be pure margin.
Okay.
So yeah, I just like to continue with this idea. So as I understand, you said that this million, this will be GMV,
yes, exactly.
Gross merchandise value, and
Exactly.
and what you're saying is that your actual revenue is 70% of your GMV.
So what I'm saying is that this year, exactly this year, we started with these big promotional campaigns this quarter. So the increase of this, it will be 250,000 up to the end of this quarter. Next year, we have signed for 1 million extra on a gross margin, so on gross revenues. So the increase on margins that we are having this year is 70% increase versus last year on margins. Next year, it will be something different. It will be, we will have a 20% margin over everything. So around 20% of the money that we send is the one that we earn as a revenue share. So that will be more or less next year doing 2 million, it will be 500,000, close to 500,000 on extra margins.
Okay, and your main value to your customer, in addition to digitalizing their process, is that the unused vouchers.
Yes.
Well, you will kind of keep some of that money yourself, yes. And some of them they will save.
Yep.
But who loses out? Because I mean, these
Amazon, MediaMarkt, Decathlon,
right.
Cepsa, lose.
Right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Hi. So I would like to go back to the previous slide where you like show the funding. So you're saying that you're splitting the company.
Yes.
So are you now raising for both companies?
No. So the previous, so Dative as a company, the one that I'm representing exactly now, has two business models. We were building tech and tech services to different customers. And some of our customers asked us to start doing this kind of stuff. And we found out that our tech services that now we have close to 20 employees is not something that we can scale in service like we can do in this area. So we were assessed by your lawyers and by VC funds that we engage with them, is that VC funds are not willing to invest in a hybrid company. So what they asked us is, in order that we split the two companies, we have one software house that we have our legacy customers that we grow significantly as well this year, that we'll have here a company that I will be just a shareholder, but I will move as a CEO in the next one. So we'll raise money in the next one, and Dative it's profitable by itself. So we will need money in order to increase and to support the first months of the activities of the Royward, and then to expand it.
So
Okay, thank you very much.
With VRT, who is the public broadcaster in the Flemish region of Belgium, to help them summarize their news articles in Dutch. So what is the problem? There are around 2 million articles written every single day. Just our data provider, VRT, is publishing around 100 articles on their website alone. However, long text is not really accessible for mobile devices, where most of the new generation is spending their time. And of course, VRT wants to be publishing in new platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, etc. So that's why they need some summarized versions of their articles. But as you can understand, doing that manually is really expensive and takes a lot of time, and that's why they want to automate that. So our solution is to use deep learning to actually summarize their news articles directly from Dutch to Dutch. So with this approach, VRT can expand their reach in a really scalable and cost-effective way. And the really interesting part around that is that by actually summarizing their existing collection, they make it more accessible for new generations as well. Now let's talk a bit about technology. So what we did is we trained the model with two types of data: open data and private data from VRT. The open data are coming from CNN and Daily Mail, and they're actually machine translated versions of the news articles. And out of them, we got around 300,000 articles. And out of VRT, we got 150,000 articles. So we trained a machine learning model, which what it does, it actually can get a big text from VRT and generate multiple summaries, with a big difference that these summaries actually capture the generalistic style of VRT. And that's exactly what we presented them yesterday. So what have we achieved? Well, our model proved to be 10% better in absolute performance across 5 metrics, which is really good. It is twice as fast compared to the alternatives, and also it's 30% smaller, which makes it much more easier to scale and more energy efficient. In the future, the way we envisage the product to improve is that an editor from VRT can go edit and put suggestions in the summaries, which can be fed back to the data that they provide us. This creates a multi-stakeholder data value chain that continuously improves the performance of the product. Now, as you can imagine, VRT is not the only company in the world that needs, like a media company in the world that needs that. Out of the 2 million news articles that are generated every single day, 90,000 of them already come with summaries. And we expect that with technology, we could capture 10% of that. So remember this figure because we'll find it afterwards with the bottom-up approach. And as you can understand, summarization is not only applicable for news and for publishing, it's also for other industries. For example, social media monitoring, financial research, legal contracts, etc. Our business model is really, really simple. It's just 25 cents per summary. And with our with our financial model, we can, and with some assumptions, we put these assumptions. If we assume that by the end of the next year, we'll have 18 clients by the end of 2023, each one of them requesting around 100 summaries per day. And by assuming that we'll be growing every year 100%, so we'll be doubling, then by the end of year 5, 2017, we'll be generating 6.5 million in revenue from the media industry. This figure actually is a bit above the 10% that we estimated before with a top-down approach. Now, obviously, we can be generating more money with other use cases, as we said. So if we include these other applications, we could be generating an extra 1.3 million by year 5. So in total, we could be around 8 million by year 5. Now let's go into a bit into financial projections in more detail. So here in this graph, we have on the blue line our expected revenue. On the right-hand side, you can see this 8 million we're talking before. And on red, we have our P&L. We have our cash flow. And there is something interesting here. In the first 3 years, you can see our cash flow is negative because we'll be incurring more costs actually than the revenue that we're generating. And this in total is around 1.3 million. So in order to scale this proposition, to make this MVP a commercial business, we have to attract at least 1.3 million in funding to make it a proper product, to make a sustainable business. Thankfully, during the last 4 months, we managed to attract 150,000 euros in funding. So we're already 10% through our funding goals. And the way we want to spend it is mainly through R&D and sales and marketing activities. Now, if we go into a bit more detail in our roadmap, by the end of year 3, which is at the very end, we expect to be supporting 50 languages. You have models for separate use cases like fintech, social media monitoring, and media as well, and have around 135 customers. Now, I talked about customers. As you can understand, most of our customers are large media publishers who will not be really easily approached by cold emailing and so forth. So these customers require warm introductions and networking. And that's now we'll talk about our go-to-market. So we expect this interaction and this collaboration we already have with VRT will open us the door, it's the gateway, to actually get into the much wider ecosystem of media publishers worldwide. So we're going to be talking about multiple geographies and multiple languages as well. And another go-to-market is actually through Reach. And we think Reach quite is interesting because we could be attending multiple events and conferences where our customers could be. And Reach has already provided some recommendations and finance us for that. As you can understand, this involves a lot of work, but I do think we have a really good team to make it work. So on the business side, we have me, I'm Haris. I have around 12 years of professional experience. I used to be vice president of data science at Barclays. In my latest role, I created HSBC's global chatbot framework. And we have Carla, who graduated from Oxford and has an MBA from London Business School. On the tech side, we have here the guys. We have Gustavo and Guillem, who actually spent the whole summer on this model, and they have actually pushed the boundaries and have reached state-of-the-art results. Kenneth, who helped us with testing, and Dr. Kuluri, who actually supported us on advisory. Some things about us. As I said, our main product is a multilingual AI platform for customer service. So we do both chatbots and also live translation of customer queries. This strong combination of our product and the team has so far got us to a funding of around $1.2 million. And despite being just 2 years old, we have already generated revenue with big clients like Procter & Gamble, Doha Airport, and so forth. Moreover, we got some grants and awards from the Innovate UK, which is the funding body of the UK government and the European Commission. And we're members of some really prestigious clubs. So ELISE is the European Center of Excellence for AI companies. NVIDIA Inception Program, and 2 London prestigious accelerators. Now, all of these things are interesting, but how is summarization related to us? Why we're doing that in the first place? So it's not just for VRT, obviously, it has to be aligned with our roadmap. And the way we see it, and the reason actually we pitch in the first place, is because we can help our customers quickly generate content for the chatbots. And how do they do it? We can actually use a summarization model to summarize the FAQs that they have in the public websites. So from the long version, they go to the short version, bite-sized, that can be produced in our chatbots. I think this is the last slide. Thanks very much. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you. You said that your target customers are big media companies, yet you have Procter & Gamble and the airport as your paying customer now. Can you explain a little bit further? First of all, what is it that you do for your paying customers now? And what makes you think that this is not your target markets, but that it's somewhere else?
Okay, so our main business is customer service automation. So it's a platform that helps customers manage and automate the customer service in multiple languages. So airports obviously have the need for that. So the summarization project is something we started with VRT. And the interesting thing around summarization is that it ties really well with our roadmap in the future. So besides providing that just for the summarization purposes for external customers, is for us internally as a company that helps onboard more customers. So imagine they have Doha Airport, they have 50 pages of FAQs, really long text. Okay, this product can help us from this, I don't know, 15, 20 lines of text, can generate a 1 sentence answering the question of a client. So there are 2 different kind of revenue streams. One is our main product, okay, and then the product will be generating for VRT and other customers only for the summarization product.
And what kind of market validation have you done for this new product?
What, sorry?
What kind of market validation have you done? So, have you talked with media companies? Are you about to make a contract with them?
So we have not really done too much market research. We know that the market exists. There's so many competitors out there that actually validates that the market does exist. I think our competitive advantage is that by this collaboration, we can go directly with warm introductions to other media publishers. So like competition is not always bad. It's good. It actually provides that, proves that the market does exist. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, thank you.
Hi. So I also would like to ask a bit of related question. So as you said that you are targeting like big media publishers and you are actually being very ambitious, which is not a bad thing, that you want 13 or 18 of them. I'm not sure.
By the year 5? Yeah.
I thought like that was like in 1 year that you actually wanted.
So you're talking about this slide, 155 by year 3, yeah.
Yeah, so but still you want 18 next year.
Yeah.
So how long do you think is the sales cycle with this type of clients? And do you already have any sales personnel within your team? And especially, do you have any sales personnel which already has their own network in that targeted industry?
So we don't have a person for this specific industry. We have salespeople like Carla, as I told you, but we have not actually broken through the media agency ecosystem. And that's, as I said, we can collaborate with VRT. So we expect in terms of the life cycle, we expect around 3 to 4 months for the small ones and maybe a year for the bigger ones. That's the expectations we're having.
Did you talk with VRT about it?
No, we haven't.
Did you ask them about any indications that they can maybe do some introductions for you?
I think, well, not really, not directly on that, but I'm pretty sure there is the opportunity of doing that. I know, for example, they're like, from what I've checked, they are part of some incubator. I think there's another group with larger media agencies. And I think you're actually leading that, Mike, isn't it? So like, I know that he's really involved in that. I hope that he can support us if he actually wants to have the product rolling.
Is it over? Oh, I have one
Yeah,
more
you go
question. So, the pricing which you have, like, 25 cents, per summarization.
Yeah.
So for example, like when you are talking about FAQs, so it's not repetitive, right? Because like they have a FAQ, you summarize it and that's it. Like,
That's it, yeah.
like, because articles would be coming like, new ones every hour even. So like, do you have the same pricing for summarization of FAQs as you have for articles?
So the summarization of FAQs is for us internally. So
Mhm.
actually, it's more about reusing the same technology. So we're not charging it to ourselves.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. Thank
The
you.
others are actually continuously generated news articles every day.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. A couple of questions.
Mhm.
Basically, you are killing the journalism,
I'm reading what?
the journalist.
The journalist.
Yeah.
We don't really, but
But
we help them.
somehow. But what are your competitors?
There are many actually APIs right now that do summarization. But what they're doing more, well, APIs, commercial APIs. And I would say we have also internal competitors within the innovation departments of companies. And I think this is the biggest hurdle we'll be having in terms of selling. I have seen in the past in my career, like you want to sell an AI product to someone, then they have the innovation team or data science team. They say we can do it internally. So I think the second one is the most competitive one. And the idea here is like, because we'll be actually aggregating, we'll be using data from open data from multiple big clients on the news industry, we can make really specific models that can capture generalistic language. Like right now, summarization models will be mimicking Twitter language, which is different from the style that our target market wants to express.
Okay. And last question, what is your level of accuracy when you summarize?
Guys, do you remember? So we, in terms of accuracy, so we have different metrics. We have the Blue score. So Blue actually is recall based. I think on that, do you remember how much we got with them? Okay. So the way to measure that, because it's not about, they're not binary classifications. This is about saying how many common words you might have in common or semantically how close it is. So we're actually outperforming all the other benchmarks across 5 metrics. So
okay. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Test.
Yes.
Okay, we are. Okay, is the point. Thank you. Okay. I think from here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Guido Mazza from Meter Idea. I couldn't wait any longer to tell you about Point and Go. Here's the challenge. Imagine you're a public sector officer or a provider offering services to the city. The services able to generate a large amount of geolocated data, even for big events or on a daily basis. Substantially, the challenge here is being able to understand what kind of information we got from this data and how can integrate this data from specific location with social platforms. Those platforms able to tell you what people think or feel about the very same locations. Now, tourism is one of the prominent markets in the world. Basically, if you manage to succeed here, it means that you are able to detect what people think, and you can detect your trends. Play and Go, maybe you know, Play and Go Experience is one data provider for our challenge. They also organize VR experiences in many cities for the tourist sectors in Spain. They face, together with multiple industries, this really pain point. So being able to identify a single point of interest in many heterogeneous data sets, maybe public or social one,
and run a specific analysis on the comments and interactions from the user to understand these kind of trends. So inspired by this solution, with this challenge, we start to study some technologies that enable us to detect users' comments in a way that can be effortless from them, like VR technologies in this case. So we wonder how cool would it be actually to provide some AI-powered dashboards to help them correlate, visualize, and help data providers, but also Citi, to get better extraction of value from their data. So the solution basically is new data value chains that let them to operate and sharing data, giving superpower to service provider and public administrations. And now we see how. The solution is called Point and Go. We implemented specific features designed to meet the challenge need. So performing computation analysis for the most attractive tracks, for instance, but also the reliable resolution of the single point of interest, supported by multi-language support sentiment analysis in this field. So enough talking, can you see something like moving here? So imagine we just completed one of the most crowded events in Valencia, that's Las Fallas. Point and Go. Okay, it's not moving, but so imagine you're just completing your Las Fallas with the VR experiences from Play and Go. So Play and Go collected thousands of user comments and interactions for the experience they designed for these events. They upload our metrics here, and we analyze the data and resolving the point of interest with social platforms, so Google and Foursquare. Then we switch to the sentiment part. So AI algorithm to deal with multi-language, for instance, but also sarcasm, a lot of challenge that we face here to understand what kind of data we are gaining into. All of this to enrich our visual problem. So see these perceptive maps that help us, the users, also to using some strategic ranking, for instance, to see the perception variance between the induced perception designed by the VR experience with the social one. And this is also the core of our challenge, so the sake of our challenge. So basically, in other words, we can easily spoil when an area is underperforming, so it's not so popular from the social point of view, but because of the events or even the services that provider is offering, the performance on the social perception is better. So speaking with our data providers and cities, we investigate the opportunity to better align the track analysis. So basically, during this computation, we are able to make all the computation needed to define the most popular tracks within an event. This is a really crucial, essential feature to help also public authorities to take actions about security and logistics in case of main events. Speaking about business model, we are great news to share. We really during these months in Reach get to know our user persona better and start to tackle different kind of needs. We were so glad when one of the most relevant providers in Europe of micromobility services like DOT decided to start working with us, sharing their data and providing new insights from a completely different market. Another great opportunity was also Reach their city, open up to a new pool of municipalities working with them. And you see all the KPIs that we're already integrating within our platforms. In terms of scalability, all the city we already reached and all the KPIs that are already integrating within the platform are ready to use for any players or providers that decide to join our platform. And so we can easily integrate a new data provider. And this approach let us reach the incredible, nice pool of 16 cities for our MVP. This means that by this scalability, we have already the need to translate the web application in English, Italian, and Spanish. But in Italy Idea, we love makes things happen. So during the last weeks, actually, we had the first touch point with our data provider, Spanish team and Italian team that matched together with the Play and Go experience and are now currently exploring ways of collaborations for business collaboration in Spain in particular. Speaking about the business model, we detect among all the opportunity scenarios a subscription model, but also an early adopter package. With this letter we allow data provider make us developing for them custom connectors, specific APIs and widget to tackle their specific object. With this kind of approach in mind, we aim to get to know more cities, get to know even more realities, and open up for future investments during the next couple of years. So we started from 16 cities, and we target here all the European municipalities that are offering sharing mobility and services. We also achieve another interesting results by with a letter of support coming from the city of Modena. This is outside the reach of our partners, but the municipality, maybe you know Modena for Ferrari cars, Aceto Balsamico, and also the UNESCO heritage. They spot the opportunity to support this platform to access public funds in order to achieve SDG sustainable improvements. So green lights for further experimentation for us. This is the roadmap. As we mentioned earlier, we get to know many user personas. They are typically who working with the city. So you see some nice events we attended in Milan, also Valencia, and other ones are already checked on our calendar. The idea will be in the following years also proceed with the campaign with our data providers marketing team. This is a reflection of what we just saw in a 4-year projection. So we see the team that is growing for 5 units by the end of 2025, and even have a specific budget for get to know outside of our reach so far. So marketing events with partners and so on. Of course, as I said in the very first slide, the competition is high on tourism market. There are also unicorns out there that we want to raise in these slides to see that we can improve how we can integrate with this kind of data. So we have a great challenge, but why us? So why us are the good team? We love building sustainable services, cloud providing services for companies, but also communities, able to empower them with new possibility with cloud technologies. So we have collaboration, for instance, with DOT, but we just saw that. But the main thing is we know how to collaborate with communities. This is our most successful events or project that is used all over Europe and reached the amount of 50,000 users in a time frame of 5 years with university and students. We are really passionate about what we do. We take old panel about the opportunity of coding and technology. The next one will be in few weeks with women's empowered in coding objectives. Reach was a great opportunity for us, let us achieve external funding for a technology provider earlier in June. We're talking about 30,000 euro, and also sustain our hiring campaign to acquire new talents, and it got results with new cloud engineers from Italy and Portugal as well. So we think we have the recipe for success. We have a challenge, a vision to solve it, a mean to achieve it, and a market, a prospective receptive market, and also a strategies to quickly enter it, and maybe also the right team to make the job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So for the presentation, maybe if you could elaborate a bit more on the actual market size. So initially, maybe I just didn't really catch it good, but like when you also break it down like based on some sort of like language sensitivity, right? Because
Yes.
You said that you are starting with Italian and Spanish, so I assume that like those models are adjusted to those languages. So if you are looking at basically the market segments, so like what's your addressable market? Like total addressable market and maybe obtainable market for the first years? And how is it actually going to be reflected in your growth?
Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, we already experienced some of these challenge with regional languages. So to answer your first questions, our algorithm can treat also regional languages like Catalan, and we had a lot of comments from Las Fallas, that actually an event in Valencia, and we have a really nice slides when we can see 3 comments. One it was in English, one in Spanish, and one is in Catalan, and the sentiment was good, was positive at least, and we have confirmation by our data providers because we know of course native languages. Speaking about the market, we really addressed the first Spanish municipalities and Italian because that's the main reach we can obtain with our data provider currently. And we think also these kind of markets are interesting because what happens in Italy and Spain maybe can be then exported, because maybe we have a lot of resources from cultural point of views that maybe we can then export in the future. So the first addressable market would be, I would say we already reached the currently DOTS user base in Italy, but we have more of 10 cities still reachable in the next year with Play and Go. So thinking about Alicante, Malaga, Barcelona, just to make a few examples. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me concisely in one sentence?
Yeah.
What is the problem that you are trying to solve?
Okay.
And then with 2 words, who's your client? And with the last thing, yeah, how much are you charging?
Okay. So
one sentence, 2 words, 1 number.
Okay. The problem we're solving, the data provider here has not problem to achieve a lot of data. Their challenge is being able geolocated data. Their challenge is being able to uniquely identify these geolocated data with social platforms data. So the name is misspelled, the location is not concerned. So we apply this algorithm to being able to uniquely identify this point of interest. So the Plaza de Ayuntamiento in Valencia is Plaza de Ayuntamiento in every databases. So the customer in this sentence is of course our data provider, so DOT, Play and Go in this case, but they see also the opportunity to reach cities because they are willing to pay as our studies for specific KPIs that we have, like track analysis for sure. So we can detect how people move within an event. How much are charging? There were among possible scenarios, keeping in mind that we started from scratch for developing this. But what we are really more confident to sustain and improve is a subscription model. So what we actually know more about, and we can help them maybe charge a bit more for customize their connectors. So if a data provider has a specific need or a specific city, we can develop their connector from them and then make this available to the standard solution for everyone to join afterwards. Not 2 tenses.
I will kind of continue on this one, but a little bit specify the question. So I would ask, what kind of business problem to solve? Like somebody's data, doing something with data, that's not a business problem. So who has a business problem? What is this business problem and how do you solve it?
The business problem is being able to maximize the involvement from tourists. So maybe let them stay one more or improve the events of Las Fallas to make the most out of the tourist experiences.
So your 1 sentence pitch would be that we help you extend your tourist stay in your city.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what you have to tell. Start your every pitch with, because I didn't understand it until now. Yeah, but we are out of time, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we can start. Hello, everybody. My name is Savos Rogotis, and I'm a business development manager of Travel to Fit. We're actually a travel tech startup based in Greece, but we focus on providing data-driven solutions for the accommodation and the tourism in general sector. Oh, sorry. So let me tell you a few things about the accommodation sector here in Europe in general. We can see that the accommodation sector is largely constitutes of micro SMEs and SMEs. So you can see 91% of hotels operate in Europe with less than 10 employees, and the majority of them also operate with less than 25 rooms. Also, during the pandemic years, we can see that they exhibited a very big decrease in occupancy rates, and on top of that, only 1/3 of them are considered digitally transformed. These numbers are not independent from each other, and actually they provide evidences that the accommodation sector is found in a very weak position in when we discuss about digital transformation, when we discuss about the adaptability to external macroenvironmental factors. So, although the hotel owner and revenue manager have different incentives, different motives in their day-to-day activities, they share also some common pain points. So they think that in what has to do with their pricing policy, they do not price optimally, and they spend a lot of time guessworking in order to find optimal rates for their rooms. When we discuss about travel technology, from one side they think that it's not affordable for their size because they represent very small businesses, and also that it's very difficult in order to apply it in their day-to-day activities, given also their skill set, because some of them have digital skills that are missing so that they could provide upper level services. So we built Rosie together with Rich. Rosie is a revenue optimizing assistant that exploits data sources, heterogeneous data sources from our data providers in order to provide for the SMEs, for the accommodation sector, so it's a business-to-business solution, decision support, business intelligence, and AI analytics capabilities. And all of that through a continuous delivery of intellectual output. So we provide market insights to them. We also provide the demand forecasting models and dynamic pricing models to help them in their day-to-day activities. It's actually a very powerful solution because it provides unique benefits for these end users, for the accommodation sector, and especially for small businesses. It helps through demand forecasting and dynamic pricing. It helps the travel professionals to save time. It helps them to increase revenues in their occupancy rates, as I said, and also in dynamic pricing, in better pricing their room rates. And of course, at the end of the day, it helps them adapt more efficiently to the macroenvironmental trends and the changes. Compared to other solutions, because there are a lot of other solutions out there, we are the only solution that uses effectively external data. That's very important. It's not only internal data from their own property. We use external data to provide a unique set of capabilities towards these end users, and all of them through in an easy and yet affordable way, dedicated especially for these small businesses. All of that we are doing following a subscription-based model. So we are commission free. We have no hidden installation or infrastructure costs. And as I said, it's affordable for this kind of businesses because the subscription is proportional to the property size. So even for small businesses that have small number of rooms, we can help them have accessible travel technology. And we are targeting a huge market. Actually, in Europe, the accommodation sector constitutes of 200,000 establishments. And also it directly impacts the employment rate, the employment of EU. But the service obtainable market for us that constitutes of establishments with less than 25 rooms and also that are found in Greece, Cyprus, and Spain. These are actually the first target markets of us. It's 7,500. Okay, so Rosie is scalable by nature, if we can say, because you can think of it as a solution that could also impact other sectors, for example, agritourism or food and beverage, because of the demand forecasting capabilities in the relevant communities. It can also be used by other actors of the tourism ecosystem, for example, destination managers or policymakers, because, for example, you can see with this dynamic demand forecasting capabilities, it can help them build a strategy for their region that they operate. And of course, through integrations with other travel technological solutions, it can include more internal data now, so that it can provide also other kinds of functionalities. So at the next stage, we also want to integrate our solution with our first product, actually Travel to Fit, the company that created Rosie, has launched recently the first product that is a proposal building platform, again, focused on travel professionals and hospitality professionals. So you can see that Rosie is found at the right at the core of business for Travel to Fit. And also think about the global potential, because this can be transferred to other regions with similar characteristics. Okay, so Rosie now, as a plan, can be offered to these businesses, to these enterprises, directly as a software as a service solution. But also, as I said, with fusing all this heterogeneous data that can be found on the bottom of the slide. At the next stage, next year, we plan to integrate it as a suite of services for our other products that could be offered together as a bundle to these travel professionals. And this could leverage that through our customer base, so it could go to market more easily. And later on, we think that we can leverage on different distributors. So we would like to build strategic partnerships so that we can reach a critical mass of customers more easily in a batch way. Now, about financial projections, we are very optimistic about that. Although we start with very humble numbers, we believe that the break-even point for Rosie only it could be reached in 2023, and in the next years we'll achieve the number that we have as a target to have 1,000 subscriptions in 2025, so that we'll have more exponential growth. Actually, in terms of impact, we really think that Rosie could be a front runner in the digital transformation and the sustainable digital transformation for tourism. So in this sense, we really believe that technology should be accessible and inclusive for all, even for micro SMEs. I think that this is very important. These are found in a very weak position now. We saw during the pandemic, and we also want to be profitable. So this could support also EU's leadership in the accommodation sector. So the team that is behind Rosie actually constitutes the core team of members that have a very big experience in project management, in data science and fundraising. We are also very proud of our advisors and of course the communities that they represent, that have very deep links with the accommodation sector. We have the Hellenic Chamber of Hotels that we used to be part of the Capsule T Accelerator program, and the deep links with travel technology as well. Now, together with Reach, we see some notable growth for Rosie. Actually, from scratch, we have one product in TRL6 right now. We have initiated some contacts with potential customers. Here we have discussed with people that are already in client base of Travel to Fit for its first product. And of course, we saw improvement in terms of marketing, in terms of networking, and also in terms of expansion from the Travel to Fit team. Now, this is our timeline. For the next year, we expect to launch our product. We really want to be found in TRL line next year and seek for funding so that we could further promote Rosie, and also to integrate with our first product, as I said, Travel to Fit CPQ platform. And in the next year, to scale faster, to sign our goal for 1,000 clients, to expand in different markets and build strategic partnerships, as I said, with distributors or data providers that will help us scale even more. Okay, now in order now to scale faster in a faster way, but also in a more dynamic, in a more balanced way, we see that there is a funding opportunity here. This would allow us to go from where we are right now, so that we have a robust MVP, we have these functionalities that I presented before, to where we would like to be heading in the next years. so that we have more advanced features that we identify together with our coaches, our mentors, our data providers, and increase in terms of TRL and marketing potential. Thank you all. I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present Rosie, and also I'm open to your questions for anything that you would like to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you. So just to confirm that I got it correct. So say I have a hotel, I would enter like, where is it located at? What's the star rating? What kind of rooms I have? And you guys give me what prices I should use during the weekend,
Yeah.
etc. So what do you mean by dynamic pricing? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, what we do is that we compare the prices that you define from in your room from what the prices should have been in respect to market dynamics. So we compare it with events or different kinds of information that we have in our databases, so that we can say, for example, if there is an event in your region, then you can increase the price for example, 5 or 10%, so that this could allow you to have more revenues in this sense. Of course, this could also help you not only in terms of revenues, but also if you lower the price, if you suggest that you should lower the price somehow, this might increase also your occupancy rates. So you see that maybe in this evolving scenarios, having this kind of decision support capability will help you increase your revenues in different ways.
Do you also take into account what's happening on the market? Say that you kind of monitor how many other offerings are available on Booking, Airbnb, and then use this information as a price basis for price suggestions?
No, we have not integrated until now with other external platforms. What we would like to do in the next years is actually to monitor competition also in terms of regions. For example, to see what is being happened in a nearby region. So to see the competition, if somebody would like not to stay in one place, but in a nearby town. So that this could also feed our data models.
Okay, thank you. Savas, 2 questions.
Yeah.
How much is your subscription fee? And the second one, are you planning to integrate somehow your software with the hotel software?
Okay, thank you. So the entry level subscription for us, it will be like 50 euros per month per hotel. But as I said, it's proportional to the room size. So the basic package could start like from 20 or 30 euros, and then it's like 2 euros per room. In this sense, we envision that an average price would be around 50 or 60 euros per month per hotel. This would be some subscription. And about integrations that you mentioned, until up to now, we are using only external data. As I said, that's a good innovation from us, because there are not so many software out there using only external data. But we think that the software will work much better if we also include internal data coming from different PMS, property management system software, and things like that. Yes, so it's in our timeline. Yes.
Hi. So I also wanted to ask about competitors, because you are showing, you showed that there are Cloudbeds,
Yeah.
which is a major player, and you also mentioned Atomize. I actually don't know them. And you said that one of your competitive advantages is like easy and affordable. So affordable, you already covered, like
Yeah.
50 euro is definitely affordable. But what do you mean by easy?
Okay, so most of these platforms are actually huge. We can see platforms that do a lot of things. They do PMS, they do booking engines, they do a lot of things, quoting platforms. There are so many systems out there. So for us, it's very, we would like to have a very client-based. Okay, sorry. Okay. We would like to have a client-based solution. So we're using a client-centric design process in this sense, so that we have a very easy to follow views and interaction mechanisms with them. Not so big platforms, so many functionality that at the end of the day, for this kind of establishments that have only one person, for example, in the reception office, could work with this kind of solution. That's very difficult.
So that means that probably your target customer would be smaller hotels.
Yeah, smaller hotels.
And also you touched integrations, but for example, like when you have like dynamic pricing, does it require that like the team in a hotel would like change prices of the hotel rooms like for each day, like let's say on booking services, or does it happen automatically? Or
Yeah, it actually we provide a calendar with some colors, so we can tell you it's red color, you can lower 5%. It's green color, you can increase it 5%. So this kind of decision support capabilities we offer. Okay, thank you. So,
okay.
Yes, hello there. Thank you very much. My name is George Ioannidis. I'm the founder and CEO of Into, a company that provides AI-powered web solutions based in Germany. So let's spend a couple of minutes on the slide. Basically, this is what you're going to see if you visit, if you don't use our tools. Basically, you will go to Santorini and will get the sunset, Valencia, and you will see a lot of tourists. And by the way, in the middle on the bottom is where we come from, Lindau, where you can go sailing, but then not on that specific region. So what we are trying to solve is overcrowding. So we want to bring people from these destinations basically to non-mainstream destinations while they're there. So overcrowding is an issue. Pre-COVID, it was more about sustainable tourism. Post-COVID was about perceived crowding. So it is a real issue in the market. And tourism companies and let's say destination management organization, DMOs, deal with it, need to deal with it in a way. What is the solution we developed here? We developed the solution within Reach. Thanks to Reach, basically, we developed the solution that allows to tell specific stories and recommend locations that are non-mainstream. And we do this by analyzing a unique set of data that are coming from local providers like the tourism community of Valencia, data that are coming from where people actually are there at the point of time using mobile phones, basically located from mobile phones. So, and we actually try to tell them the right narrative at the right time. So you are in a place, and then basically you get a notification, those are the possible options that you can do, and those are non-mainstream, basically. That's what we do. Then the end result is an app for tourists and a cockpit for DMOs. How does it work? Well, there was a video there, but never mind. How does it work? But I have all those slides here, so backup solution. Imagine you're coming to Valencia airport, and then what you're actually getting there on a roll-up, you see a nice app, advertised a QR code, and then you brings you to this page. You log in with your Twitter profile in order that we are going to kind of, let's say, get a first profile of the user. What are the things that the user needs to know? And then what you actually see is starting a quiz. So we ask you a 3x3 quiz where you select a couple of photos that capture the mood of the day. And you select these 3x3 photos. And at the end, what you're going to get is the recommendations based on the selections that you got. How we do it, of course, is based on a back office that has a lot of content, a lot of data that we have processed in order to be able to make these recommendations there. So we cluster these recommendations, the data, so we make them basically in categories that are useful, and DMOs, destination management organizations, have the full power of using editing and managing all the information there. What is the main innovation? The main innovation is, of course, that we provide these recommendations based on real data, but we also have something we call a sustainability index. So you don't want to go there where also other many people are there. So we provide a recommendation basically that takes into account the current situation where a user, where let's say not so many tourists are. We call it a sustainability index. We use open and proprietary data, and we want to use more open data in the future. And we have this gamified quiz detection quiz here. There is a market here. Travel and tourism is a big market. So it's the total value is basically 81 billion. So we are, of course, not addressing all of that. It would be a problem actually to address all of that. And then what you actually see that in January 2022, after COVID, all the traveling basically started. And at this point, destinations are coping with the same problems, even worse problems that they had before COVID. So what we are actually seeing, and this is the total addressable market if you want, is we look at DMOs. There are 300 around Europe with a national or regional scope. And we actually want to address those now that are in Germany, Italy, and Spain, because we have direct immediate connections there with the Community of Valencia, with Visit Tuscany partner we work with, and of course in Germany because we are based there. So those are 46 of them. What is the business model? Well, this is a service actually. So in a way, because it requires access to local data and customized based on the data that you actually get from the providers. So in a way, it has development costs, it has customizing costs, and it has operating costs. The end users will, of course, get the app for free because that's the main incentive for them to use it. The revenue model is, of course, yearly fees plus any consulting fees that we don't have. Our go-to-market is taking advantage of the evolve phase, develop some pilot applications with, moving further with pilot applications and reference implementations to use them later on in fairs and exhibitions where we are going to present the solution and make it more, deployed widely to more clients. We have 2 pilots by Q2. Next year, basically, and in a way, 7 clients in year 1. That's our target for this go-to-market. The competition is also there. Competition is dealing with mainly, if you look at this kind of, let's say, storytelling or capturing social media, something that we also do related to, populating this back office. They don't do any recommendations, and certainly they don't do anything that is basically based on sustainability index. That's our main key innovation here. The team, we are a team with experience in the area of aggregating, analyzing a lot of data, developing interfaces, mobile applications, and so on. My background is in engineering, and I have also an MBA, 20 plus years experience. I don't know how much plus this is. My colleagues basically are all PhDs or Master of Science in computer science, specializing in specific areas like the innovation management, product research and development, and of course, software. Sorry. I'm going back. I skipped a slide here. Slide is not there. Well, nevertheless, there was a slide that is not there anymore. It was about what our achievements till now. We've worked with Visit Tuscany. In the past, we have worked with events that basically these destination management organizations realize with the community of Carrara, another community local DMO in Italy, now with the Valencia region. So in a way, we have access to this market. So what we actually achieved as funding till now. Well, thanks to Rich, we got this product basically out, and we have developed an MVP, and now we are looking for pilot implementations. In the meantime, we've secured funding that is around of 850,000 euros in projects that will keep us, in a way, developing the technology that is in the back of it. So all the AI tools and all the extraction tools that we're doing and the recommendations. I think that's important. And of course, we are looking for further support here in the next evolve phase. We are looking mainly for finding the right market fit and pricing, if you want, because we have a pricing, but we don't know if this is a pricing that will basically take off. And of course, scale to other regions and do these pilot implementations. I think what is also important for DMOs is that they capitalize on the content that they have created. There is a lot of content out there that on websites, on social media that they post all the time, and it's basically a one-off. So it's something that they do and they don't take advantage of it. And it's a lot of money being lost and wasted for creating this content. So with this platform and with this recommendation, they can capitalize on it and they can provide basically a better user experience. So we reward them for the content that they produce. And of course, they can keep their end users, the visitors, happy so that they can come back the next point in time and visit them again. Thank you very much. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Apologies. DMO stands for?
Destination Management Organizations.
Okay.
There are several levels. Just for your information, there is this national level. Well, it's the Spanish one or the German one. There is the regional one, which is the Valencia region or the Bavarian region. And there is a local one, which is the Lindau, where we are coming from, basically has its own tourism board.
Okay, thank you for that. So DMOs are going to be happy if there are plenty of users using the app. Is that correct?
No, DMOs are going to be happy if plenty of users move to their mainstream, let's say, destination where, overcrowded to less overcrowded.
Okay.
That's how they are going to be happy.
So first, the users need to be using the app, and then they need to decide to go to the other places.
Yes.
Okay. So how are you going to attract users for downloading your app?
Well, I set an example basically in the user story. So when users come to the airport, they see a banner of, let's say, take this app. This is the local app by Community of Valencia. So there's a QR code, and basically that's how it works. That's my idea for now. It could be better.
Yeah, will you also try to leverage user-generated content?
We already do that because we leverage social media posts, but we also, in the next stage, we want to look at reviews from specifically Google local guide reviews, where they kind of, let's say, have say something about places. The only problem with this is actually that they are not in a way ranked by the sustainability index. So you can go to a place and you have this problem basically for overcrowding.
You have also quite a few Instagram apps which are recommending you Instagrammable pictures, so you could actually leverage their places for your app.
Yes, that's also possible. We used mainly Twitter now. That's as a basis, primarily because it is easier to access the API. And Instagram provides some kind of, let's say, more, partners, allows only partners. So you need first to partner with Instagram and then take access to the API. And that's a bit of more.
And I have also quick question, which is quite important about your 850,000 in projects. So could you maybe describe what kind of project it is and what are they actually paying for, which is because you said that you are... These
are mainly funding we received for developing further technologies on the extraction of, let's say, entities, improving the recommendations, and analyzing data.
Thank you. I follow up for David's question that, there are quite a lot of travel sites and so on available. Obviously, your business model is that TMOs pay you. In order for them to do that, you must have quite a significant user base. I would like to ask about the value that you offer to this user base to actually sign on, because what I'm thinking is that there's a lot of general knowledge that, for example, in Venice, it's more overcrowded in the summer than in the winter. Ski resorts, perhaps vice versa. So what's the additional value that your solution brings to the table for the user?
Well, the additional value, if you look at from the DMO side, is basically they have
No, the user side.
From the user side, it's basically experiencing something new that they have not thought of experiencing it. So it's basically this kind of, let's say, new stuff. So you go to Venice, but you also visit the places nearby that have something to, are related to your preferences. That's one thing.
But do you need mobile phone data for that?
Well, you need mobile phone data for that. Well, we use them actually now to calculate the sustainability index. So how many people are now in this place towards how many the place can afford. In a way, that's the only reason we use this mobile data for that.
Thank you.
Well, there are also benefits from the DMO side, but I'm just not going to say it if you want.
I got those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we are ready to start. Okay. 1 second. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, member.
I'll do this and then you can focus on that. As a few of us may recall, or many of us might remember, the city of Bilbao has already been a victim of weather-related catastrophe, as seen by the flood event in 1983. But this isn't necessarily going to be a one-off occurrence. And even the past 12 months demonstrate the risks that can occur within and around the city of Bilbao. Even in December 2021, the Basque region experienced incoming storms, heavy snowfall, followed by rain, flash flooding, and landslides. There was lots of agricultural and property damage, and thousands were forced to evacuate due to the floods. With 20 provinces put on red alert, there was over 1,500 calls made to the emergency services, who were quite simply overwhelmed in the aftermath of this event. From one extreme to another, so far this year, Spain has received over 5,000 alerts from wildfires alone, and 5% of these have come from the Navarre region, which is less than 200 kilometers east of Bilbao. As we've all experienced in one way or another, the fires have been fueled by heat waves and extreme drought conditions, causing up to almost 300,000 hectares of land to be destroyed in Spain, which is 6 times higher than the national average. The number of weather-related disasters has increased by a factor of 5 over the last 50 years, and it is clear that our climate crisis will undeniably put Bilbao's firefighting services under even more pressure. An integral part of their strategy for future preparedness is to equip themselves with the knowledge of what they're up against. The Bilbao metropolitan area has over 1 million inhabitants, making it one of the most populous metropolitan areas in northern Spain. And with a population this big, safety cannot be left up to chance. Now, I'm Harriet Smith, and I'm the Customer Success Manager here at SciStella. And at SciStella, we don't put out fires, but we do output data. SciStella can help predict the risk to your city. We start by knowing what the risk is, where the loss event will happen, and where it is going to happen. We provide a customized cloud-based platform with risk data visualization models, and this will enable you a rooftop-level risk insight to your city. Using our platform and the firefighters' expertise, they will be able to organize and distribute their resources accordingly and prepare for and execute disaster mitigation strategies. Now on to the fun part. How we make money. The software SciStella service products are based on a SciStella products and services are based on a software as a service business model with annual recurring revenue. We adopt a tiered pricing structure by which the price is tied to some value, usage, and driver of product functionality. However, as we are a typical B2B business selling enterprise towards a very conservative sector, such as insurance, we are experiencing very high customer acquisition costs and very long customer acquisition cycles. So in order to address these issues, SciStella is considering a transition from a software as a service business model to a managing general agent business model for specialized lines of insurance. In an MGA, the insurer or the reinsurer, so they pay the claims, and our role is to control the underwriting and the pricing of those insurance policies. We believe that the geospatial technology, which is at the heart of what we're offering, is generating commercial value within the risk to capital chain. And it's also key to being efficient and cost effective as an MGA. Now, we do realize that this is quite an unusual but promising approach to commercializing big data and selling deep technology products within a very conservative sector. The rapid adoption of data-driven decision-making by the insurance sector, plus advancements in techniques in handling large amounts of data, such as AI, big data, and machine learning, it's driving the market forward. So we address a total insurance analytics market estimated to be worth 12 billion euros by 2023. However, we are focused on property and in agricultural lines of insurance, which has a service available market estimated to be worth 4 billion euros. In 5 years' time, we intend to capture a share of that market worth 30 million euros. SciStellar, using geospatial technology, is classifying and monitoring risk, and we're packaging that and we're selling that to the insurance industry. Now, as we were doing that, we realized that the same data that we're using could also be used to classify and monitor risk for the civil protection services. And that's why we're here at Reach Incubator. We're here to test our hypothesis and validate our footing in an alternative market. And if we're successful, we believe that within 5 years' time, 20 to 25% of our annual recurring revenue could come from the non-financial services. Now, at our current stage, we've already gone through our initial product development. We have a product market fit and validation. We have a fully functioning platform that we have created alongside a customer. And we have a customer in the form of a major European insurance company who have recently signed a 3-year contract. So our next step is how are we going to scale our solution? How are we going to sell to multiple clients? And our strategy includes engaging with sales, engaging with marketing, and engaging with distribution channels, as these will increase the visibility of SciStellar within the InsurTech domain. We'd also like to focus on our channel partner relationships, and as previously mentioned, consider our transition to an MGA business model. Now, SciStellar is a young company, but in 3 years, we've already achieved a product solution fit. We have validated our approach with large customers on several proof of concept projects. And in the last few months, we've seen the first stages of product market fit by converting some of our POC customers into annual recurring revenue customers. As for our funding, in April 2021, in a first seed round, SciStellar raised 1 million euros. And we're planning to raise a Series A in Q3 of 2023. We hypothesize that the company will become cash flow positive in Q2 of 2024 and profitable at the beginning of 2025. We believe that our provision of data-driven insights is providing actionable knowledge that could well be utilized by the civil protection services. And I would like to thank you for your time, interest, and consideration of our solution.
Thank you. Just so that I understood it correctly, do I understand that you work with the insurers, for example, at the moment, and you kind of develop risk scores for different parts of the city, and they then change their premiums depending on those scores, and is it something like that?
Yes, so we can essentially provide a hazard level analysis or a risk analysis at a rooftop level for insurance companies, and
Right.
this will help them.
Okay, then I got it correct. So my question would be that how much do these scores change month to month? So what's the reason for the insurer to pay you the next month when they already have the data?
When we already have.
Yeah, I mean, how much do the scores change? So you have a software as a service. I understand they pay you each month. So they get this data, the risk scores, how much do they change, or why would they pay you the next month?
Well, we do have a lot of data that is near real-time data. So that will change in terms of like rain forecasts. We've also got nowcast prediction with landslide risk prediction. So a lot of the hazard scores do change. And if Peter, if you've got anything to add, then I'd definitely like to ask you this question.
Yeah, you already see that climate change is making things less predictable, right? So the risk is changing, it's constantly changing. So statistical models that are based on the history, so it's not working anymore. So, and that's exactly what we have for near real-time assessment as the risk as it's changing, that they can price it also back.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. So you're a fairly mature company. Maybe if you could elaborate on the work you've done during this REACH program, and how was it different from all the resources already spent and used from your previous funding?
Please, Peter, again, can you help me with this one, please? Peter's the CEO of SciStella, not a very knowledgeable member of the audience.
Yeah, first of all, what we intended to validate during the REACH program is that we have these hypotheses that the data that can be used for the impact in the insurance sector can be used by the municipality with combined vehicle.
So it's more for a prediction.
Yeah, so exactly more like a prediction, so helping the municipality, helping the contribution, so to predict the risk, and then size accordingly the size of the data. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about the same type of data. Obviously different time frames, but the same technologies and the very different insurance very important.
And I know that 4 months is not a really long period, but did you manage to get some interest from someone for this kind of predictable data?
Yes, definitely. So in 4 months, actually, I would say that we have achieved our main KPI of actually testing together with the potential customer, the feasibility from the technical point of view. Now, also we need to figure out what is going to be the go-to-market strategy, selling to municipalities, selling to protection, civil protection units, as you might guess. So again, we are facing a very long sales cycles and high customer acquisition cost. So that's something that we also need to do. I would say that when we gather enough data, say that it's worth investigating further and going into go-to-market.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice that you share with us your internal discussions about moving from the SaaS model service to the MGA. So in the MGA model, revenue model, how does it work?
So what happens is that the insurance companies at the moment, they're quite happy to outsource the underwriting of their policies. And so as an MGA, we would take that over as the geospatial party in that business. So we would provide the underwriting score and within reason, the pricing, and we can sell that back to them and we would profit from taking a cut of the premium.
So but is it going to be a one-off fee for each transaction, or is it how does it work?
I'm not sure if it would be a one-off fee, but I think if we were taking a cut of each policy of each premium that we underwrite, that's how we'd generate our revenue.
Okay. Normally it's based on a percentage of the premium, or?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
There we go.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to be here. My name is Matteo Dall'Amico, and I'm the CEO and founder of WaterJade. I will present you our solution River4U flood forecast for water utility. How much water is there and when will it become available? These are the key questions that most water managers are asking to comply with water supply. However, in the recent times, another question is becoming very urgent. Will the water do some damages to my plants? And this is particularly true for our data provider, SMAT, the water utility of Turin in northern Italy, who is supplying water to more than 2 million people. In the recent years, they have experienced a very sharp increase in flood events, which force SMAT to revise its current procedure to handle with flood events, which is now to send out manually people to close the gates of the sewage when the river reaches a certain level. But there is no prediction in place, so the decision on sending out people is just made empirically according to local experience. And this is it's time-consuming, is causing costs for false alerts and missing interventions. In order to solve this challenge, we are deploying our technologies that we like to call the digital twin of the catchment area. So instead of using purely historical data on precipitation, which is the state of the art, we use a large amount of data that are coming from in situ data collection, satellite images, and numerical weather predictions. These data are feeding a physical model and machine learning algorithms in order to provide the accurate forecast. And in fact, comprising with state of the art, we can state that we can be twice as much as accurate. We follow the whole water cycle without the installation of any in situ instrumentation. So the solution we deployed was, we take in input the civil protection bulletin that is provided by the local environmental agency. But this civil protection bulletin is just a traffic light that shows colors like green, yellow, orange, and red, according to the threshold, to the level of the risk. But SMAT doesn't do anything with this kind of traffic light. They want to know what happens in the next hours. And this is exactly what we have done. When the threshold of this bulletin reaches a certain color, a machine learning algorithm is triggered to provide a complete, evolution of the water level in the river for the next 12 hours. And these data have been successfully integrated into the SCADA system of SMAT. And actually last week, there was an event where SMAT, publicized this successful integration. So here you can see the SCADA system where we have successfully integrated our solution. So the advantages for us are that for SMAT, they optimize cost and they reduce time and reduce penalties for backflow flooding. And for us is that the solution is totally scalable. Why? Because we use open data, we use Docker technology, and we use APIs that makes the integration with the SCADA system very, very transparent and easy. So the solution is totally coherent with our vision, which is to complement the digital twin of the plant with the digital twin of the catchment in order to extend the control of the water manager up from the mountain down to the point of withdrawal of the water in order to increase the control over the whole water cycle. And our holistic approach allows us to have a very extensive value proposition that goes from consultancy, data services, and decision support on various aspects of the water cycle, like snow monitoring, water quality monitoring, water forecast, water planet, drought, and flood alert. So the business model is we're selling the forecast now as a service, like a recurrent subscription annual per plant. But we want to provide also a software as a service business model for the decision support system. So flood is a real challenge, as we also seen in the previous presentation. But it means a lot also for the business, not only for the society. There are more than 12 250,000 water utilities worldwide, more than 200,000 dams, and more than 12,000 large hydropower companies, where the same solution can be applied, which makes the addressable market of more than $1 billion and a growth rate of 20%. How to access this market? So the first option is to go vertical. You choose one sector and you try to provide an extensive solution on the whole industrial processes. But this is very risky because there are already many companies that are doing this. The other approach is to go horizontal and to, let's say, to address as many water-related issues as possible. And this is what we have tried to do. And if you look at the comparison between us, our offer, I'd say our service portfolio compared with the competitors, you see that our offer is very well distinguished. So the go-to market strategy is to exploit, open calls like what we are doing now, open innovation calls, or go directly. But what we want to do in the next steps is to exploit the potential of indirect sales through the companies that are already selling the service to the target customers. Who are they? Well, the company that I showed before that are already in the vertical, like software providers for water utilities, gear producers for instance, turbine producers for hydropower companies, or let's say sensors producers that are measuring the water. We have already traction. We are selling to the second, third, and fourth largest hydropower companies in Italy. We have 3 POC, 3 pilot in Italy, 2 in Spain, and 1 in Portugal on water utilities. And we are negotiating partnerships with these, let's say, companies that are already in the market. The next steps for us are to complete or to re-engineer the architecture, the modeling architecture, in order to make it more flexible and robust, to exploit further the power of satellite images tailored on the water sector, to design and develop the front end for the customer interaction, and to increase the sales team. I'm the leader of a highly skilled team that comprise competencies technically on hydrology, remote sensing, and machine learning. With marketing vision, I have more than 15 years experience in sales in the water sector. If you believe that the water is the new gold of this century, I'm happy to answer your question. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Question. So you developed the pilot for the city of Torino.
Yes.
How much is difficult to translate that model to another city? Because I assume that you model take into account the mountains, the river physiology. So if you have to change your model for another city like Rome, is it easy?
I would say that, I have the answer on another slide here. Okay. So it depends on 3 possibilities. If you have a meteo agency and a water agency, or if you are just the meteo agency, or you have none. So in the city of Rome, we have both. So what are they providing? They're providing so we don't have to produce the weather forecast model or the hydrological model for the whole basin, because they have already. We just can take an input, as we have done for the city of Turin, the hydrological bulletin, and do the system integration with that, and provide the tailored forecast on the target points. If we talk in another town, for instance, I don't know, in South America, where no meteo stations, so meteo agencies is present, we have the full technology to do all of the modeling chain. So in this way, I say that I wouldn't find any difficulties, because we take the open data from the, let's say, from the river gauges, And we have already the integration into the SCADA system.
Okay.
Thanks. Can you elaborate on your how much funding you have raised and what did you achieve during the REACH program?
Yes. Okay. This is shows a little bit of the company, let's say, storyline. We had a pivot in 2017. You see with the green, with the red, the grants. So summing all the grants, I would say that we have raised so far 500K euro. We have not raised any venture capital yet. We are bootstrapping, and as you can see, also the revenues from let's say from real invoices are increasing in time.
And what did you achieve during the REACH program?
Okay, during the REACH, we achieved two things. The first is the development of the APIs, and this was a major improvement for us because it allows us to deploy the solution very transparently and very easily wherever, okay? And this is how also SMAT was able to ingest our data very easily into the SCADA system. And the second is to deploy the technology that takes in input, not the whole modeling chain, but just what is needed. So the civil protection bulletin. And this has allowed us to give more trustability to our predictions because they are relying on an official forecast from the local environmental agency.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. And could you please elaborate a bit more on the pricing? So I guess you are charging them per year, right? So like on the example of Doreen, how much revenue did you generate there?
Okay, we on the city of Turin for this flood alert, we're still missing we still have to elaborate on. Let me just go back here. Okay, as you can see, what we are doing for the city of Turin is the bottom right, the flood alert. Okay, we have not yet decided a price on that. We do have decided a price on others, like the water forecasts that we are selling to hydropower companies, like 10K per year per plant.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, for the snow monitoring, we are charging according to the size of the catchment, also to hydropower companies, like 5,000K per year per plant.
And you already generated such revenue?
Yes, as I shown in the previous plot, we do generate values. However, in other services, not in the flood alert. The flood alert was the pilot that we have done with together with REACH.
And when you had that 1 billion as a total addressable market, was that for water solutions only, or for fire and everything?
No, it's just water.
And was it a worldwide number, or was it Europe specific, or?
No, it's a worldwide. We took the report from Frost and Sullivans, but then it can be somehow calculated if you take more than 250,000 utility to 200,000 dams and 12,000 hydropower companies, and you multiply by the price, you can easily get these kind of figures. So it's just for the water related, let's say, services.
And you're starting initially in Italy?
Yes, we, for obvious reasons, but thanks to REACH and to other open innovation calls, we have succeeded to enter in open innovation calls. So the POC in Portugal and in Spain was part of this open innovation programs. So I cannot say that we have real customers, but we have real pilot tests also elsewhere.
Do those customers have something in common? So for example, they are on a river and there is a mountain, or they have specific like weather or microclimate, or,
That's a good question. So I would say that, let's focus on hydropower and water utilities. Hydropower has to optimize the water by definition because they produce energy. Water utilities does not have to optimize the water. They just have to make sure that the water supply continues. However, they are experiencing discontinuity in the water supply, too much too little, like the drought we had this summer. But my experience says that they don't have the internal knowledge to do all this forecast as the hydropower does. So the idea to target, to use the same technology also for the water utilities is to fill this gap. So just to answer your question, what I find in common is that they have the same issues, however, they treat it differently. But for us, the technology is specular because we are just treating with catchments, we're treating with precipitation, with snowmelt, and with water, which might be in reservoirs, wells, or dams, or or rivers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Martin, yeah, no, perfect. Okay, no worries. Okay. All right. Hi, my name is Alex Gluhak. I'm CEO and founder of Urban Data Collective, a UK startup created early last year to accelerate the urban data economy. Our mission is to democratize access to real-time urban data so others can create better urban futures. Our existing product, Urban Data Exchange, is a software as a service platform for real-time data sharing that takes out the hassle from managing and sharing real-time urban data. We used Reach as an opportunity to develop a data-driven service on top of UDX called Cities in Charge, which provides a value-added service to our customers enabled by urban data value chains. By 2030, many European governments have outlawed the sale of fossil fuel vehicles. A successful transition to electric vehicles as our society, however, requires a tenfold increase of the existing public charging infrastructure. Cities and local authorities have a key role to play in its delivery, but face significant challenges to do so with limited time and resources. In previous pilots, we've uncovered several pain points that hamper the utilization of current public EV charging infrastructure and its reliable operation. Firstly, deploying chargers in wrong areas of low demand can waste infrastructure investments and leads to lower revenue for charging. A second issue are broken chargers and the time it takes to fix them. A third issue are blocked chargers, either by EV users overstaying or non-EV drivers parking on the charging bays, limiting charging opportunities for others. Furthermore, in pilots, we also uncovered that cities are often unaware exactly about the energy tariffs they pay at different charging locations, leading to some cases them paying more for the energy than actually charging for their users. Our initial experience show that these problems can cause significant revenue loss, especially for larger EV charging network deployments. A second problem that we encountered is also the overhead related to management and enforcement activities on EV charging bays. This includes regular net zero tracking and reporting, the enforcement of non-compliant use of EV charging bays, as well as managing suppliers to meet their service level obligations of the infrastructure. All these are time-consuming tasks requiring significant human effort, which are repetitive and could benefit from automation to achieve greater cost savings. Our solution, Cities in Charge, is a data-driven decision support tool for local authorities to better manage the rollout and operation of its EV charging infrastructure. We build upon our existing product, UDX, a real-time data integration platform, to obtain harmonized access to live data streams from different EV charge points of different operators, as well as other relevant urban data streams. Using AI and advanced analytics, we're able to forecast future demand on charging for future rollout, optimize the operation of the existing charging network, as well as simplify the management operation of EV infrastructure-related activities. Our benefits are
have direct financial impact, such as higher revenues per charging due to improved utilization, savings in infrastructure investment, as well as cheaper enforcement and management activities due to automation. It also provides our customers with the ability to improve EV charging experience of their citizens at chargers and fosters increased competition of different suppliers on the market. The global market for EV charging is already large, but it is expected to grow significantly over the next 5 years. Our initial target market are cities or local authorities of more than 100,000 people. We'll also target private sector parking providers who are likely to offer EV charging opportunities to their customers at car parks in future. Citizen Charge can be considered on one side as a standalone data service, or on the other side as a value-added service on top of our UDX product offering. Here, we're just discussing the business model for Citizen Charge to be a standalone data service. Okay? So our revenues come from annual subscriptions to our Citizen Charge service, plus a one-time setup fee for the integration of local data streams. We are also offering our customers with an upgrade path to our existing UDX product at a discounted rate, providing us with an additional upsell opportunity. The reverse is also possible for existing customers of UDX who might want to add on Citizen Charge as a value-added data service on top of their UDX subscription. Our go-to-market strategy follows a traditional business-to-business sales cycle and focuses on cities and local authorities, as well as parking infrastructure operators. We are targeting annual service subscriptions as a recurring revenue source or stream. We are also thinking of establishing channel partnerships with charge point providers, as well as specialist consulting companies who work in the EV charging space. Over summer, we've developed a service together with Surrey County Council, which acted as data provider within Reach and our first service user. We have now 2 further pilot customers in our pipeline. With one of them, we have a meeting arranged for a demonstration already next week. We also have 2 further EV-related case studies in the past that we worked on, which we can use now as well to have some credibility and references to accelerate our sales. Our revenue forecasts have significant growth potential if we become a market leader. Most revenues will come from recurring subscriptions to our UDX platform and Citizen Charge service. Our founders have 35 years of combined experience in IoT and smart city technologies and have worked at sector-leading companies. We've got the right team to bring this product to market and to scale the business. We are raising now £250,000 for a runway of up to 24 months. We'll use these funds to develop further our MVP into full product, ramp up sales and partnerships, and scale our team to support our customers better. Over summer, we've spoken to more than 20 investors, and we've now secured £100,000 committed from 3 UK angels. We are also currently in advanced negotiations with an early stage VC in London for the remaining £150,000, and we hope to complete due diligence and close the round by the end of October. Due to our good progress on the funding side, we're now focusing our Reach missions on business development opportunities. We've identified 2 main exposure opportunities. The first one is in 3 weeks' time in the UK, focusing on our Citizen Charge product offering. The second one is later in Barcelona in November, focused on exposing our combined product offering, UDX and Citizen Charge, to a global audience. We would like to thank you all, the Reach particularly, for our support provided, and hope we can make Citizen Charge a global reality. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. So maybe like my initial question would be that you said that 250,000 investment is for 24 months, and
Yeah.
it seems that you have quite a few people in the team.
Yeah.
So are you working full time?
So the team, part of the team is part-time currently. So the money will be used obviously to bring them full-time into the company now. Yeah. And
Is
so-
it still enough to bring all those people?
yeah,
full-time?
so we already revenue, sorry, just to let you know. So we will have 200,000 revenue by the end of this year, half from sales, half from grant income. And the idea is not to raise too much and to grow basically sustainably. The 250,000 pounds is basically based on our cash flow needs for the growth, and we aim to grow next year and then the year after again. Yeah.
And those angels who you already locked,
Yeah.
are they somehow strategic, or can they like help you?
Yeah, so obviously they're local actually, yeah, to not far away where I live. One of them is someone who used to be senior vice president at Oracle. He acquired data businesses for Oracle. So he will be hopefully serving as an NED on our board.
Yeah. What is the big data?
Yeah, there's plenty of big data actually. So first of all, you've got data coming, which is event streams, real-time event streams from the charging networks. On the other hand, we're also correlating other information such as new electric vehicle charge registrations and also data from utilization of actually parking bays through smart parking sensors. So these are event streams that we then move into a data warehouse. We operate different ETL jobs on top to extract metrics that are important for them. And this is and so we are basically. I feel it is a data value chain that we're realizing based on a diverse urban data streams. Yeah.
I think we're out of time. Okay.
Yeah, we've got 5 more minutes.
Okay,
Quiz me.
thanks. Yeah, I did already ask one of my questions. My other one would be like similar to the last theme, that how scalable is the business? Like if you attract a new customer, I understand that you charge them initial fee like 10K, but how much time does it take, and what does it mean for your scalability?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So basically the data onboarding for us, it's done through our UDX platform that we already have under the hood. It provides actually many features as well. It's like a real-time data portal internally in an organization, but we don't expose this directly now as a citizen charge, but it aids us. We've got a very efficient process to onboard data streams. Sarah basically has developed some smart technology that allows basically to map different APIs that you have in data streams into like SANAS compliance one, which are harmonized half a day or a day per data stream, maybe in terms of development effort. And it becomes a library that we can reuse. So for instance, many charge point operators, they use a standard protocol called OCPI. We've got already integrations there, so we can very easily integrate against any charging provider. That in some cases, there might be custom APIs that we can handle. Okay.
How are you getting in touch with those charging providers? Like how difficult it is and how long does it take?
So typically it's done through our local authority. So what they do is they are currently rolling out charge points and they are running tenders to deploy them from different providers. And they are the data owners because they pay for their chargers or have some sort of revenue share agreement with them. So basically they would make an introduction and they would be obliged to integrate against us, right? So this is a straightforward task. I think the more difficult part is like to close down the sales cycle for the local authorities itself. Yeah.
How long do you think it will take for them?
I think something between, from our experience, 4 to 6 months. Yeah. So from initial contact, but I think we are getting to a stage where our current provider, Surrey County Council, they are really happy with what we delivered. And they will make introductions, and it's sort of like a network, of local authorities working together. At least in the UK, it will be easier for us than to grow as part of this. Yeah.
And after the UK, what are your plans?
We're also going into Europe, right? We already actually have now a Dutch pilot on the go, but it's focused on our UDX platform. It's actually a Dutch water utility company. Yeah. for real-time data integration there and sharing between different utility companies. But yeah, we hope to then reach as well. I mean, I've got a network in the European smart city space. I've been active there for more than 10 years to tap into. We worked with Porto, Helsinki, and other cities. In the past. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I am the sales and marketing director at Sensinov, where we are a French-based company, and we are providing the next generation smart building management solution. So let's start with a little bit of good news. Okay, the world is facing two major crises. The first one is the energy one. If you look at 2019, the prices of electricity are multiplied by 10. So if you take the French market, for instance, 1 year ago, you could have buy 1 megawatt hour for 100 euros, and now you are paying 500 euros. And it is the same for all the European markets. On top of that, you have power outage. It means that there is too much tensions on the electrical network. So there is some power outage all over the world. And on top of that, you have the greenhouse effect on global warming, which means that there is too much greenhouse emission within the world. And there is someone responsible for this, and it takes a huge part of it. It's buildings. They are accountable for 40% of all global energy consumptions. And 33% of all global greenhouse emissions came from buildings. And it's gonna last forever because 90% of all existing buildings will still be standing in 2050. So it means that we need to find retrofit solution to optimize them. So the problem is that people managing buildings, they don't have the right tool to do so. Sorry, come Sensinov. We want to completely shake up the building sector. We are the next generation and the reference in smart building management system, and we completely change the way we manage building. With our solution, you can reduce energy consumption by 20%. You can save on operational costs, and you also can be compliant with regulatory that is putting in place in Europe. So how does it work? It's actually quite simple. We have a hardware part, which is the sensor box. So we design it and we industrialize this box, which is very simple to install in buildings, highly scalable because we don't manufacture it. We actually subcontract this. But we own the software, which is inside the box. And then linked to this box, we have the SaaS platform. It's a cloud platform that allows you to supervise and control all the equipments within the buildings, which means you can control lighting systems, HVAC systems, so it's heating, cooling and ventilation systems. And you can also have all the data concerning the sub-meters of energy consumption within buildings. And we can connect to any type of data, external data coming from big major power suppliers and so on. We collect this data, you get the application to actually control all your buildings, and then we can have advanced energy efficiency application and failure detection to actually optimize the buildings and its parameters. So is there a market? Yes, the market is very huge. We are targeting the retail, office and warehouses buildings, and this will represent 500 million square meters within all Europe. And just to get a sense of the market, they pay 9 billion of electricity cost each year. And those data are dating for 2020. So I'll let you make the calculation with the new prices. Within this market, and thanks to our business model, we plan to actually get 4% of this market, which means that we'll be
having a recurring revenue of 8 million per year, and then a CapEx revenue of 40 million. So what's the business model? It's actually quite simple. It's split in two parts. We have the SaaS platform, which is a recurring revenue, and we are charging 40 cents per square meters. And then for the hardware part, we are charging 4 euros per square meters for the installation of the whole system. What's cool with this business model, it's actually that we have a return on investments that is quite efficient because we have a payback period between 18 to 24 months. So how do we get this return on investments? It's based on the economy of energy that you are producing within the buildings. And with the rise of the prices, actually this payback period is getting shorter and shorter. Which is cool also that there is no churn, because it's very hard to install a system in a building, and once it's installed, it's going to be stand for at least 10 years within the buildings. It's highly scalable because the system is really easy to deploy. The whole systems are actually based on premises models, so you pay a license and maintenance. We are charging as a SaaS model, so it's evolving. You have always new features, and it's also very plug and play. I said it. It's for instance, the last systems, the very whole systems took you between 2 to 3 months to install within the buildings, and the shortest time that we got is 2 days. In 2 days, we are able to connect the whole building. So why the REACH program? Actually, to be able to get the best traction within this market. And as far as we are going to a SaaS platform, we need a killer application. So REACH actually helped us to create one of the killer application of the system, which is the Augment and Optimize HVAC services, which means that we are now able to actually collect data from weather forecast, from occupancy forecast, to create optimized parameters for the HVAC systems. So we predict a consumption, we predefine parameters, we apply those parameters, and you actually gain between 20 to 40% of economic savings on your HVAC systems. And the REACH program also helped us in the supply chain management, the partner networking, and also regarding internal communication within Sentinel. So the REACH team, 2-person full-time project, Ileana, which is here, R&D leader, Younes, which is a data analyst. We also get some help from one of the developer, full stack developer, Enda, and I was working on the business vision. But there is also a rest of the team. We are today 16 people within Sentinel, but we are not alone. This market, obviously, there's competitors, and the competitors are actually very old companies like Schneider, Honeywell, Siemens. They are hardware companies, so they rely on their existing business. Their business model worked for years, it was fine. But today we came as a new actor, as a software company, bringing on all the software innovation, and also we already tackled the hardware problem. So what's the difference? They use very strict data, fixed data. They don't collect external data as we do. They don't use AI and machine learning systems to optimize the parameters within the buildings. The alerts then sent within the buildings are very basic one. You cannot actually understand why you get alerts from the buildings, whereas we can provide smart alerts to tell you, okay, there is an energy leak on this system, but if you apply these parameters, this will change it. Their solution is actually designed for very big buildings, but not for small and medium buildings, whereas we can address those buildings. So there's a huge market for this. Interfaces, it's awful. Totally awful. Like I said, license-based model, SaaS model. And for each building, they actually need to have a third party which will configure the buildings. It will take time. It will take cost a lot. Whereas we are actually on a plug-and-play solution. There is no code needed, and the platform is the same for every client. Go-to-market strategy. Sorry about that. We already deploy 100 buildings so far in Europe, in France, in Portugal, in the northern countries, sorry. And for the sales strategy, we go directly through customers, and we are working with big retail companies, which are holding a real estate park, which means not building by building, but we are targeting real estate parks with a lot of buildings. So yeah, 100 buildings deployed. We are currently working on 2 deals that I cannot talk about with 2 major also retail company within France. which will represent 100 buildings for one deal and 800 buildings for the other deal. This is not a quite new deal. We are actually, we've been working over a year with these two companies, and we have made all the pilot tests and so on. So now we are in a very advanced stage. And for the very last part of it, kind of a midterm vision, we want to create a partner networks, because currently we are directly selling this solution to our customers. But as we have subcontracted the installation of the system, actually the partners who install the system could be resellers. And we can also set up quite a good business model on this. And also, we are planning to create an app marketplace, because we connect to buildings. We set up a platform. We put our application, iPrevision application, but we can also put any other application, any other services, whether we develop it or whether it's a third party who develop it, and we can get fees from the data collection. And finally, the fundings. We've been 100% bootstrapped since the creation. During the REACH program, we actually get 140K loan from a French bank for an innovative program. And we already started to set up a board with an advisor, which helped us doing this, so because we plan to have a Series A, pre-Series A fundraising for the next year to actually build up all the sales part, the sales team, and to actually address new markets. And thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. So, so far you've implemented your solution in 100 buildings. Is that correct? Yeah. So you are generating revenue.
Yeah.
How much?
How much? Last
More
year,
or less.
more or less. Last year we generate 350K, and this year we will land between 1 million and 1.2 million.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever thought of becoming a partner of your competitors, in terms of becoming the company that works for Schneider, for example, to develop the solution, or you want to ride alone?
We actually tried. We made a lot of discussions with one of the major companies, the French one, and actually they are very. They are very slow. They get the point of the platform, the data, all the things, but they take this very big organization, and we want to go fast. We already seeing actors, new actors coming from maybe mostly from US, that are still keeping back. So we need to go faster. So yeah, we decided to go on our own, and we are also able to actually connect to this our whole systems. Like I said, yeah, we have the box, sensor box, we put in buildings, but if there is an old system, we are also able to connect to them. So we're not closing doors yet.
So where does your customer save money? What's the kind of main things that they justify for them to pay 40 euro cents per month per square meter?
Electricity bill.
Okay, and as I understood from your kind of roadmap, you have some perhaps real estate developers as your potential customers, or some landlords.
Yes, it's landlords. Yeah.
But isn't the problem that whereas the landlord has to pay you, the one who's saving the money is the tenant? So how do you kind of get rid of this problem?
Yeah, so yeah, within buildings you have a landlord who own the buildings, and you have tenants who exploit the buildings, so they are the one that consume energy. So our clients are actually the tenants, not the landlord, but in some cases the tenants and the landlord are the same. Like for instance, in big retail companies, they own their building, they exploit them. So for retail companies, they are the same. So they actually are the one that it's charged. And if you take office building, it's quite different actually, because you have tenants that consume the energy, and you have the landlord which owns the building. So for the landlord, the advantage is that if you have a system like Sensinov, your building has a new asset value, because it can generate services, because it is optimized for your tenant. It will consume less energy than in other building. And for the tenant, if he uses the system, he is actually reducing his energy consumption and its electricity bill.
Mm-hmm. So, and the final question, you said last year you had What did you say, 650,000 revenue or so?
No,
Oh,
350.
350, yeah. So last year, the electricity bills were not such a problem as they are this year. So how did you sell your service back then to your customers? I mean, what I'm thinking is that, well, 40 euro cents per square meter per month.
Yeah.
It's for my apartment, it's like 40 euros. Well, this year I kind of understand, but last year you could not have sold me that you will spare me this money with electricity bills. So
The business model is 40 cents per square meters per year.
okay.
Yeah, and
Okay,
the
that
installation
explains it.
cost is 4 meter one shot cost. But good question, how did we actually manage to sell the solution before? It's because big companies that own big real estate plots, they don't have solution for global view of their park. They have very sporadic solution from the whole systems, but they're not communicating within each other. So they wanted to have a helicopter view of their park to actually understand how the whole park is functioning in terms of consumption, in terms of energy policy, and so on. So that's how we manage.
I will just ask a quick question because I'm mindful of the time. So because of the paying customer and probably the customer who opens the door for you, like the landlord, they are different in most of the cases.
Yeah.
So who do you think is like your kind of like easier way to enter the market? Like what's the kind of like profile of that, let's say, landlord? Is it like a group of, is it developer? Like
as I said, it's mainly the tertiary buildings. So it's big real estate companies that own retail buildings because they have a huge electricity invoices. Like for instance, if you take the Lidl, they went from 5,000 euro per month on electricity bill to 15,000 euro per month. So it's they multiply by 3, and they didn't actually already get the rise of prices because they have negotiating the prices of electricity way before. But in the next coming years, they will be facing the rise of electricity prices. So yeah, let's say tenants and landlord that have buildings that consume a lot of energy, so retail, office building, and warehouses also.
Here. This is for you guys. So, yeah, my name is Moshtaba. I'm CTO and co-founder at Builtrix. And today I'm going to present you the outcomes of Depend project. Let's discover how much your appliances consume without installing any additional hardwares. I want to start with a story. Meet João. He is the energy manager in Cascais municipality. He manages several buildings in Cascais, Portugal. In Cascais, they have more than 200 buildings, and in each building, they have one central sensor and a smart meter. So they receive a big data of energy consumption every day, but still they don't know when, where, and how this energy is consumed. They don't know which appliance is responsible for the peak consumption, so they don't know how to reduce the consumption in their properties. You may say that they can install sensors for every appliance in order to understand their consumption. But we are talking about more than 200 buildings that require over 1,000 sensors to be deployed, more than 6 months of project to deploy this infrastructure, and more than 500,000 euros of capital cost to do that. So the main requirement, the main challenge of João and Cascais municipality is to extract the insight from the energy data without any additional hardware and capital cost. Builtrix offers a cloud-based software that uncovers the consumption of appliances in the building without installation of additional hardware using artificial intelligence. For those of you who don't know how the virtual disaggregation as an artificial intelligence tool works, I may give you an example. Imagine you are taking a slice of a cake and you don't like the taste of the cake. You want to know why you don't like it. So you take a photo from this slice, and the application on your phone tells you how much sugar, butter, egg, and other ingredients exist in your cake. This is exactly what Builtrix does with the energy data. So customers like Qashqai and Joao, they don't need to install extra hardware, and still they can receive the consumption of the appliances in their buildings without the requirement to pay and wait for the installation of the infrastructure. We offer a subscription plan for our customers in order to connect their sensors into Builtrix platform. And they pay a fixed fee and also a monthly fee per building per month. Builtrix has been recognized with several European projects. For instance, Platon project, which is the first platform for energy digitalization in Europe, and European Hub for Data, which is the big data value chain for innovation solutions like Builtrix. We have been also selected by ABB as one of the innovative solutions in the energy market in the Innovation Challenge of ABB. We have several customers in different regions, like Coop and EMPA in Switzerland. Coop is the second biggest retail store in Switzerland. And we have Municipality of Rome, Roma Capitale, as one of our customers, and many other customers in Portugal. In total, we have over 2,000 buildings in our platform. Every month, we identify more than 200 inefficiencies in the buildings. We are 10 times faster in historical data analysis, and we can extract the data from 150 data sources in the market. So I have a great news. Thanks to REACH program, we could make a deal with our data provider, Qashqai Municipality, to be implemented in the first energy market in Portugal, in Qashqai. So Builtrix will be used with more than 250 households during the next 3 years. We have also received an interest from one of the utility providers in the market of Austria to run a larger scale pilot in the market of Austria next year. So at the end of the day, based on the results of the experiment, we proved that we can save up to 80% of the time of the customers that have multi-properties, and between 5 to 20% of their costs. So energy was always a global concern, but nowadays it's the biggest concern of European citizens and businesses. The market of energy analytics in 2027 is expected to reach to 35 billion euros. 30% of this market exists in Europe, and 25% of the buildings in Europe are commercial, our direct customers. So we are not the first company in the world offering virtual disaggregation as a solution. In the North American market, we have Building IQ. Dexma is a Spanish company doing that. And we have Votix in the market of UK doing the virtual disaggregation, and they are our direct competitors. But thanks to the innovation of Builtrix, we are easy to integrate, and we are more affordable for European citizens. So our roadmap is to continue with our customers and raise €500,000 by the end of this year. And we expect to create and generate 150K in the first quarter of next year by onboarding the clients in our pipeline from the market of Switzerland, Austria, and Portugal, mainly from the utility sector, retail sector, and hotel industry. So basically, this €500,000 will be spent in 18 months on the hiring, product development, sales, and marketing. We have a multidisciplinary team of business, energy, and data, including data scientists, data engineers, and software developers. We believe it's time to invest on a solution that is highly integrable, fast, and also easy to integrate and affordable, like Builtrix, to support the energy transition, which is the peace plan of 21st century. Thank you so much. I'm here to answer your questions.
Where is Sensinov?
They're actually going to be our partner.
Okay, because I didn't see it in the competitors analysis.
Because we are not competing on.
Of course, you are not competitor. Because you need a box. They don't need a box. You need a box in the building. Okay. So I'm puzzled.
Yeah. So, what kind of inefficiencies can you detect? And another question: what kind of data sources do you use?
Okay, great questions. So when we are talking about inefficiencies, Builtrix is expert in understanding the peak consumption and reasoning the peak consumption. I give you an example. For instance, in the market of Switzerland, what you pay for the peak consumption is around 60 times more expensive than the regular consumption. So you don't know which appliance is responsible for generating these peaks. And if you know, you can control it. You can schedule its timing. You can set up and tune your, let's say, the building management system in order to handle this situation. This is the main source of inefficiency detection using the virtual disaggregation. And if you want to deploy so many sensors to identify these peaks, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't pay off. The return on investment is so long. And the second question was the data sources. Great question. We are relying on the smart meter deployment rollout in Europe, which obliges the businesses and households to install smart meters in their houses. For instance, in 2025, there will be 80% of the all buildings in Europe will be equipped with the smart meters. I believe this is for the pitch, right? Okay, so this is one of our data sources. We need the data of the central smart meters. But still, for many businesses like retail, they have the BMS system, building management system. They are using Sensinov, for instance. So the Sensinov, let's say, technology collects the information, and this information, based on the regulation, is for the data provider, for the building owner. So it's the owner of the data as well. And they can share it with the third party, which is an intelligence solution, an energy intelligence solution like Builtrix, in order to extract the insight. So BMS solution is another data source. We also have EMS solution, which is also part of the work of Sensinov-like companies, integrated energy management solution, like for hotels. They have one central, let's say, machine with all the sensorization that collect this information and make it available for the companies like Builtrix.
Okay, so one of the deficiencies or inefficiencies is that when you use electricity on peak time, what are the other ones that you can track?
Yep. So let's say we are in a time that most of the cities and citizens are talking about the energy communities, where you can share your renewable energy sources like rooftop renewable sources, PV panels, with the other neighbors. So imagine you can have the prioritization for your, let's say, appliances in the building, either as a business or as a residential, and you can set it up for the best purpose, like saving, consuming in the off-peak and selling your energy in the peak time to your neighbors in a best price in the market. So that's one of the, let's say, margins that we create for our customers.
I would like to ask, I guess some sort of hardware is needed for your solution. So out of like basically the whole kind of like landscape of all the hardwares or smart monitors basically installed like in buildings, how many can you integrate with already at the moment?
So the hardware system, as I mentioned, the main hardwares that are used are those that are deployed by others, mainly by the utility and DSO, distribution system operators in Europe. For instance, everyone has this central smart meter at home that receives collects the energy consumption information in a timestamp, and it makes it available for the third companies. So this is our main source of the data. So how many sensors we usually do is like we have a fixed fee, a setup fee at the beginning of each project. Let me give you an example. We have Coop with 800 buildings in Switzerland. And during the setup process, we start onboarding 5 of their buildings. In this case, we get the metadata of the building, the consumption data of the building from the sensors. This process is automated during this period, setup period. And afterwards, we integrate the rest of the building in 2 weeks to 1 month. So for us, it's a fast integration to get the access to all the data of the customer.
And how much is the setup fee for them?
Great. So I can give you an example, which is the true case that we did with the Coop. We charged them for 15,000 euros for 20 buildings. These 20 buildings were onboarded, and I mean, based on that, we are going to charge them for a monthly fee per building.
And also because so your competitive landscape, the way how it was presented, maybe that's the only reason, like it showed that how easy it is to integrate and affordable, and you were on the affordable end.
Yeah.
So can you like provide maybe like comparison, like those who are also in the bracket of easy to integrate, how much more affordable are you?
Yeah, so there are companies, one of these competitors like Building IQ and also Watix, they provide their own hardware. So they need to install their own hardware. They are not that agile as we are with the connection to the DSOs. So they are not, we don't consider them as easy to integrate. Like Dexma is a Spanish company. They are also doing the similar work, but their solution costs around 1,000 euros per building per year, which compared to our solution, 20 euros per building per month, is much more expensive. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much to everybody, to all the startups. So let me remind you about the next points in the agenda. We are not going to take the group picture that was planned to be taken now. We will do it at the end of the event, just before the announcement, where I'm sure there'll be a full house, and we will showcase our wonderful letters that are hidden there. We invested on them, we have to leverage them. Okay, so the group picture will be around 2:40, okay? There is quite a while now, because we have like 2-hour time to decide who is going to be qualifying to evolve. Lunch is going to be offered from 12:30. So I hope that in the collective here, I don't know if they are ready, but they will soon be ready. So you have like 2 hours, more than 2 hours to relax, drink wine, coffee, whatever. Not to relax, or to send the innovation rather to Okay, you may dedicate that time today. So apparently it's very relaxing to fill in the impact survey and the innovation radar. So if you haven't done it, don't hesitate. So then again, we will see each other at 2:40 sharp here for the picture. And then we will start the closing ceremony at 2:45. Please. The videos. Important thing. Thank you.